officially live on YouTube. So welcome everyone to the Bird's Eye View. And who would have thought that we are going to be having a New York Giants divisional round preview episode? Like I know said this over and over again, but never would I expect to see them in the divisional round. I didn't expect the playoffs, and I was talking about Giants group chat about genuine shocks. And yeah, overall, looking at this team before this season, I was genuinely shocked we made the playoffs. Yeah, after the Packers game, I was when I probably started buying, thinking that we were going to make the playoffs. But here we go, the New York Giants. We beat the Vikings, and what a win it was! I mean, Daniel Jones was freaking awesome, man. He was just terrific. My buddy Tim for Secret Santa, he got me a Daniel Jones Vanilla Vic shirt. Although I've been scrambling, not as good as Daniel Jones is at scrambling though, to get me a Daniel Jones jersey. But they're all sold out because right now his jersey's in hot demand. He's gonna be back next year, it looks like. And my God, Daniel Jones, the offense was just amazing. It was beautiful. It was amazing. It was just it's such beautiful football. Amazing play calling from Kafka. Amazing play calling from Dable. Great ball movement. I mean, Daniel Jones. We see so many quarterbacks in their debuts. They don't live up to the moment. They fold in the moment. Even hell, Brock Purdy and Trevor Lawrence, that they both got off to incredibly slow starts in their games, in their playoff debuts. Daniel Jones, he didn't. I mean, this offense was rolling in the first three drives. In the first three drives, we had 17 points. All drives that started, at the 25, and we moved the ball. It was beautiful football. That first drive, we get down 7-0. First play of the game, a bullshit holding call on Nick Gates, which, by the way, they called that a holding call on Nick Gates. But then when Kayvon Thibodeaux literally gets tackled to the ground by Christian Darrisaw, it's not a penalty. It's to me, it made zero sense how literally hugging, grabbing Kayvon Thibodeaux wasn't a flag, but a regular this block from Nick Gates was a flag. Regardless, the Giants, after that first and 20, backed up first and 20, holding penalty the first play of the game. Doesn't matter. They get the yards back. They go down the field, and the Giants end up scoring, get 7. And they wasn't done there. They scored. They had 17 points on those first 3 drives. Not being able to be stopped, building that early 17-7 lead, which was really crucial. Being able to build that lead helped us. We build that lead. We don't build that lead. We're not all of a sudden we have to play come from behind, and it's a lot more of a different game. This game went the way we wanted it to, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, Daniel Jones, his arm over first quarterback in the NFL playoff history with 300 yards passing, 70 yards rushing, 2 passing touchdowns, and all this in his debut. Apparently, I didn't even know the game was on Nickelodeon. Apparently, he won the MVP. I mean, truly special. I mean, and then he ran with it 17 times, and almost all of Daniel Jones's runs were they were smart runs, deciding when to run, and tough running too, getting down, lowering his shoulder, fighting for that first down. I mean, man, Daniel Jones just was so impressive, making plays with his legs, making plays with his arms. It was truly something special to see. We thought if we were going to win this game, it was going to be because of Saquon Barkley. I mean, that's when we were winning games early in the year. Saquon was getting 20, 25. I think he was averaging 22 touches a game was the exact number. This game, all he gets, 14 combined touches, and he turns that into over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, including the game winner. I mean, Saquon Barkley, every time he got the football was, doing something with it. He didn't have to be a workhorse. He was just being a playmaker, really helping the Giants win. Our 2 guys, Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, the 2 guys who we had to rely upon, they made the plays in their playoff debuts and were just excellent. I mean, that Statue of Liberty play, that play calling from Brian Dable, from Mike Kafka, it was truly something beautiful to see. And you see why Mike Kafka right now is getting these head coaching interviews, because he's done incredible things with that offense. And he's a smart guy. He comes from that Andy Reid system. I pray that Wink and Kafka, neither of them get the job, because I want them here with the Giants. No, nothing against them. Uh, I mean, like that Saquon touchdown. It reminded me a lot of the 2-point conversion in week one. The 2-point conversion, it looks like the Titans blow the play up behind the line. Saquon breaks the tackle, gets the 2 point, we take the lead. Here, Dalvin Tomlinson has him wrapped up. He breaks the tackle, reaches over the pylon, 31-24, and the Giants take the lead. And from there, they hold on. Just like it was awesome, man. And there was just some other guys too on the offense. I mean, Isaiah Hodgins, this kid had his first career 100-yard game, and what a find Isaiah Hodgins has been. Everyone at the deadline, oh, we need Chase Claypool, we need Jerry Judy, oh, we need DJ Moore. Let's give up a second-round pick for these guys. Guess what? We got Isaiah Hodgins, a guy that we were able to sign, not trade anything for, not even trade any draft pick, sign off the Buffalo practice squad. And this guy has become the most reliable receiver for the Giants the last few weeks, becoming a legitimate threat. Okay, it was only when it was just Isaiah Hodgins had one good game, one good catch. Maybe against the Lions, a lot of it was garbage time. But he's put in a good performance after good performance. Has made some tough catches. Like he's earned himself a roster spot here next year, Isaiah Hodgins, and it looks like he'll be a number 3. But he is doing everything that we wanted Kenny Galladay to do. Although Kenny Galladay, some good blocking, man. Just like Haji, he made that unbelievable catch. That unbelievable catch, like Isaiah Hodgins. Again, he's just been such a hero for this team. Him being able to develop into somewhat of a, he's not. Is he a legit NFL #1 receiver? No, he's not. But him being able to develop into a consistent go-to target for Daniel Jones has been really huge for why the offense has been able to be a lot better over the last couple weeks. Daniel Bellinger, I took him plus 300 anytime touchdown. Danny B redeeming himself from the last game against Minnesota with that fumble. He had that touchdown. I had a good feeling about that. And Darius Slayton, for him, continues to be one of the most like frustrating players because we don't win that game without him. Almost all of Slayton's catches were huge and important. His yak, the way he's able to get separation. 4 catches, 88 yards. I don't think we win that game without him. But my God, Slayton nearly cost us the game. And if we lost that game, that's what he's remembered for. We won. Slayton, you had a big game, but man, you can't be doing these drops. I mean, that's all. I feel like in the end, that's what we remember Slayton for are the drops. I mean, that game felt like here we go again with the Slayton drop, the one he had against Washington last year, the Evan Ingram drop. It just felt like a story, a tale as old as time. But nope, we don't. The defense held on. Unbelievable final drive, including a really I'm gonna get into that, including a really shitty roughing the passer penalty that I nearly lost my mind during that roughing the passer. Like I was at the bar, I fell down on the floor screaming, losing it because it was horrible. A horrific call that the refs made just because the refs are a little bunch of doo-doo heads. But oh my God, that was exhilarating. And the defense, it was far from perfect. I mean, that first drive, Minnesota just went down the field, dominated us. Jefferson, 4 catches, 30 yards, got a touchdown, hit the gritty, and we knew all of a sudden, okay, we were going to have to step up. And also, the running game was really effective too for Minnesota. They were getting a lot of big runs. Leonard Williams missing tackles. Credit to the Giants defense. They got a couple stops. That second drive, they were aided by really weird play call from Minnesota on 3rd down. Third drive, the defense played excellent, and that's helped them build that 17-7 lead. So, the defense got those 2 early stops. But other than that, the defense wasn't particularly great. I mean, after that first drive, they shut down Justin Jefferson. 3 catches, 17 yards the rest of the game after torching us for 4 catches, 30 yards on the first drive. I mean, credit to Adoree'. Credit to the safety help over the top because we were doing a lot of McKinney over the top, McKinney in the box. Not a lot of McKinney on Hockenson. So because McKinney hadn't been on Hockenson burnt us again, much like he did in the last meeting. We were on him on that last play, so that helped. And McKinney made that play, shut down because I didn't really know what the hell Kirk Cousins was doing there with the check down. I guess seeing what Hockenson had been doing all game, he thought he had that, but nope. Got the stop on Hockenson. I mean, for the most part, whether it was Jason Pinnock over the top, Dame Belton after Jason Pinnock got hurt, uh, Xavier McKinney, a double team over Justin Jefferson. We really helped shut him down. That helped limit this Minnesota offense. And again, like much like last game, they got the running game going early, but then they got away from the running game. And then getting away from the running game, was really, really big for us because it didn't look good. Leonard Williams missed some tackles. Jalen Smith missed some tackles. But you know what? It didn't matter because the Giants, they got the win. They made the stops when they needed to. They did. Now, it sucked that one after 17-7. All of a sudden it was 17-17 at the half. But hey, like that's what happens. And the second half, the defense was mostly excellent. I mean, again, like how many times have we seen this happen? A player drops a pass. Like again, like how many times have we seen it happen? The player drops a pass for the Giants, and the other team goes down to win. How many times have we seen this season Kirk Cousins led Minnesota on a game-winning drive? And I felt like, oh God, here we go again. But nope, the Giants defense, they stepped up. They made the plays. Dexter Lawrence was awesome on that final drive, consistently getting a lot of pressure on Kirk Cousins. Beating Garrett Bradbury in his first game back from injury. Forcing Kirk Cousins in a lot of errant fast throws. Getting called for that awful roughing the passer call that made me nearly just like lose my mind and go crazy. I thought for that was gonna be it. I really thought that roughing the passer we were gonna get screwed. But he got pressure on Kirk. He forced Kirk into that really quick throw to T.J. Hawkinson, and the Giants got the stop. And after that, like it was just a surreal moment where the New York Giants beat the Vikings, and it was supposed to be a rebuilding year, man. Like we go on to the divisional round. It was special, man. Like Dexter Lawrence, he's a stud. He's so good. All pro nose tackle. He got after Kirk Cousins, getting pressures. He was a beast stuffing the run. If Leonard Williams missed tackles, he was there to make a lot of plays too. Some just other sort of musings from this game. I was at the watch party at the Talking Giants watch party. I mean, the watch party was electric, a lot of fun, high energy. Everyone just going nuts for every Giants touchdown, every Giants stop. It was incredible, man. Like that was so much fun to be at. And like the place, like hands down, the highlight of it was the Kenny Golladay block. I mean, Kenny Golladay, I tweeted it out. It was the $72 million block. I mean, who would have thought? Like, I mean, Kenny Golladay, we've all gotten on him. I've criticized him. He hasn't done anything. He comes in, for a decoy play, and he throws down a nasty block. He shoves his defender to the ground, and I kid you not, like everybody went wild. Everyone was so happy to see Kenny Golladay make that block in excitement. It was just like, wow, this guy did something. I tweeted. It was the $72 million block, and it was. Like he's not going to be here next year. But Kenny Golladay, even if it wasn't a catch, when we needed him to make a play, he actually did. So last 2 weeks, he's gotten a little bit in the good graces of Giants fans, but he's still obviously not going to be back next year. Other sort of musings. Oh, I want Daniel Jones. Obviously, he's going to be back. And it's crazy because after the tie, I said that Daniel Jones probably wasn't going to be back, that we were limiting the offense, and that's what appeared to me. That's that they were coaching not to have Daniel Jones throw the ball, a lot of running, coaching scared, and that it was clear because they didn't want Daniel Jones back. They didn't trust him. But since then, he's got on a tear. He's proved me wrong, and since that tie, the offense changed. The offense made adjustments. The offense has been electric over the last few weeks. Like, yeah, there was the tough Eagles game. That's on the defense. The offense looks good. And, one other thought I have before I move on to previewing the Eagles. Cordell Flott, he didn't play one snap all game. He came in on that third down play. Okay, like I got the notification at commercial that Cordell Flott came in for that third down play, and they attack him. He bats the ball away, and like Flott, shout at you, man. Really shout at you. Anyways, now we're moving on. We're talking Giants and we're talking Eagles. And I'll be honest, it's going to be a tough game. It is going to be a hard-ass game. The Eagles are beatable. Taylor Heineke did it. The Commanders did it, but it's going to be hard. I mean, the last time, look, everyone says it's hard to beat a team 3 times. But look, last time we played them was so like we had our third stringers. They beat a different team. They were they weren't as rested. Yeah. You saw how good the Giants looked against Minnesota when they had that week of rest. Now the Eagles they get that week of rest that they couldn't get against Dallas. That they couldn't get the week of rest. They just grinded. It was week 17 with a lot of starters. Week 18 with a lot of starters playing for the Eagles. Tired. They looked weak against the Saints. Now those guys are rested. It's going to be a different game. And when we saw what happened the first time we played them, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Miles Sanders, Devonta Smith, everybody torched us. Then we didn't have Adoree, we didn't have McKinney, we didn't have Leonard Williams. I'm going to start with the defense here because all three of those guys are back. And look, it starts up front with the Giants. Wink Martindale lately has been able to send 4 and drop a lot of guys back. I mean, obviously with Jalen Hurts, you're not going to be able to send 4 because the Eagles have one of the, if not the best offensive line in football. Jalen Hurts, he has that amazing scrambling ability. We're going to have to leave somebody in there as a spy, although it's likely going to leave some tight ends open. For me, I'd love to leave Landon Collins as a spy in that situation, but we'll see. Landon definitely struggled in coverage a bit in that last game. But yeah, it's really up to those 4 guys. I mean, Azeez Ojulari, he's questionable. He played a great game against the Eagles when we got blown out. He was probably the only bright spot. Kayvon Thibodeaux needs to continue being on a tear, continue showing, this is why I love prime time. And it starts with those 4. A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith are so good. They did a lot of damage against us in the slot. We're gonna have to have a lot of guys back and playing on them. We can't just be setting the house, but we also it's gonna be a tough matchup against this Eagles offense. I mean, there's just so many ways. I mean, that's just something. It starts with that front 4. That's what's always been for the Giants when they've won. Get after him. Jalen, they're going to have a lot of design runs. Jalen Hurts is going to scramble. When Jalen Hurts is scrambling, Dexter, Leonard, get after him. If we have a spy, whether that's Jalen Smith, whether that's Landon Collins, use your speed to make the play. In my opinion, it looks like it's probably going to be 5 or 6 guys in the box most plays. And look, Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, Jalen Smith, you cannot be missing tackles. Same with you, Gerard Davis. Dexter Lawrence, you've been great all year. Even against the Eagles, you played great. But now you're going up against Jason Kelce, one of the, if not the best center in football, and 2 other really good guards. Landon Dickerson was a Pro Bowler as well. How healthy is Lane Johnson? He's going to play this week. He was a full participant in practice. How healthy is he? How healthy is that groin? Because if that groin's 100%, it allows our guys off the edge. I mean, look, we have our 7 guys. I mentioned the front 4. The secondary, McKinney's going to be a mix of the deep safety, providing help on either A.J. Brown or Devonta Smith. I assume Adoree Jackson's probably going to trail one of those guys. And then the other guy will probably have, Fabian Moreau, Cordell Flott on him. Maybe Darnay Holmes, although we've seen Darnay Holmes get cooked a lot of man coverage. So that secondary is going to have to, vary a lot. And then obviously, Jason Pinnock, if he's healthy, Dame Belton. I'm sure a lot of them will be playing that deep safety if we're putting McKinney in the box or if we're putting McKinney on Goddard. I expect a lot of Julian Love in the box this game, and expect him to really play that box safety role. I'm sure he'll be on Dallas Goddard a lot. He might be, but we're really gonna have to rely on Love to also blitz, and we're probably gonna have to do a lot of safety blitzes with Love, and McKinney just has to be versatile. All those other guys have to step up. We have our sexy 7 that we know on defense, but it's up to the 4 other guys that are going to be on the field to make plays. We know McKinney's going to make plays wherever he is on the field, whether he's playing deep. If he's playing deep, it's likely that we're having Love in the box, Love blitzing. And then in that case, if he's playing deep with Adoree, we're going to have whoever's on the other side, whether it's Holmes, whether it's Flott, whether it's Fabian Moreau, they're going to have to be providing good coverage on that other side. If we have, again, I assume it's going to be 1 or 2 of those guys providing extra coverage. Then that leaves 2 spots for linebackers. Again, the linebackers, if it's a run, you need to be prepared to make the play. If it's a spy, can't let Jalen Hurts do anything. I mean, Landon Collins to me is the X factor. I think Landon Collins, he's made some plays in coverage this year, although he's not great. He's fast. I really think we need Landon Collins to use a spy, have that safety instinct, being able to go fast, chase down Jalen Hurts, be that run stopper, make plays on Miles Sanders. That's my Giant factor. As they talk about on time, talking Giants. My X factor is Landon Collins. Because yeah, like I mean, again, McKinney's gonna be all over the field. Adore's likely trailing one of those receivers. I don't know if it's gonna be Brown or or Smith because both of those guys are really good. Julian Love, I'm sure he'll be all over the field. Again, he'll be in the box whether he's covering tight ends, but McKinney could be covering tight ends. I mean, McKinney's a lot better at covering tight ends than Love is. But we might want Love in the box, being an extra man blitzing, being an extra guy to cover a running back, being in being an extra blitzer. I mean, there's a lot Julian Love can do. Uh, from there, it all depends how we're going to use the guys like Dane Belton, Jason Pinnock, Flott. Flott and Holmes are so interchangeable. I wish you could take Flott's man coverage with Holmes' run coverage. And then linebackers, Smith and Gerard. I mean, Jalen Smith, Gerard Davis. You're both going to have to make tackles. Can't be missing tackles. And help make plays for this Giants defense. I think that's really it. Like I said, use Landon again. Like use Landon as a spy. Because that it's gonna be that those seven guys, and really the mix of the other four are gonna be having to do something. That's all it comes down to. Leonard, Dexter, Aziz, Kayvon, get the pressure on the quarterback. McKinney, whether you're asked, Adoree, do a good job covering AJ Brown or Devonta Smith, whoever you're covering. McKinney, whoever you're providing help on, do a good job at that. I'm sure there's gonna be plays where Love and Belton are both dropping back. Whether it's Love or whether it's Pinnock or Belton are going to be dropping back with you. I'm trying to think. Let's see. Love, whether you're dropping back deep in coverage, you're playing the box, which I'm sure we'll be doing a lot of blitzing, covering tight ends. Do that too. Whatever. You do that. You play a lot in the box. You be that sort of hybrid box, somewhat linebacker safety. Let us drop more guys in coverage. Maybe let us, allow us to bring some 6, 7 man blitzes and do your thing. Other guys, step up. Let's go Giants on defense. On the offensive side of things, so I'm not worried about play calling. At this point, I have a lot of confidence in Mike Kafka and Brian Daboll to call the right plays. But I'm not going to lie. I'm very, very worried about the offensive personnel matchup against the Eagles. I mean, Darius Slay and James Bradberry are probably the best cornerback duo in the NFL. We know all about James Bradberry. He's with the Giants for a couple years. Darius Slay, we've gone against him. And look, yeah, he got Kenny Golladay caught the touchdown over him. But after all the shit talking he's been hearing, he's going to be hungry. He's going to be motivated. And those cornerbacks, this is not that Minnesota worst-ranked pass defense that the Giants receivers were able to expose. These cornerbacks should be able to handle the Giants receivers. They're more talented at their positions than the Giants wide receivers are at theirs. It's just a matter of fact. Now, the Giants, if they scheme right and the play calling is great, obviously those wide receivers can make a lot of plays against the Eagles defense, which, those receivers have been doing all season long. And obviously the Eagles, they had 70 sacks. 70 sacks going against the offensive line, especially Evan Neal, who struggled against him in the first matchup. I'm worried. That secondary, just Bradberry. And, not having Avonte Maddox is out for them. They're stud slot corner. So Richie James, I think Richie James could be a huge X factor on the offensive side of the ball. Some of those DBs, Avonte Maddox, their slot corner is out. So Richie James has been the slot receiver. He's gonna have to get open. He's gonna have to make a lot of plays. Can't be dropping balls, like he did against Minnesota. So I'm expecting a pretty big game out of Richie James. While Hodgins and Slayton are drawing the coverage of Slay and Bradberry, the Eagles having that slot corner injured. Richie James, I need you to play big. Darius Slayton, man, be big play Slay. No drops. You've had some success against Darius Slay in your career. Darius Slay versus Darius Slayton. There's the competition of who's the real big play Slay. You go out. You be the big play Slay because we need that. We're going to need that to beat this Eagles team because this is not going to be a defensive slugfest. This is going to be a high-scoring game. much like last week was. We keep up the score on the 30 points offense. That's twice in 3 weeks now. Make it 3 times in 4 weeks because you're likely going to need to score 30 to win this game. Just a matter of that's just how it is. How good that Eagles offense is. Because like they're special. It's such a mismatch for almost anybody. And it's not just to say like the defensive line, really, really good. 70 sacks. I think that's the NFL. I knew they were chasing the NFL record. I don't know if 70 ended up being the record and they got it. But Neal dominated, and this is something I heard from Talking Giants. I mean, Evan Neal, one of his biggest issues, he struggles to get out of his stance. Apparently, Hassan Reddick eats against tackles like that. And Hassan Reddick's had a great year. Not to mention Hassan Reddick has had the Giants number, where I'd say Reddick has really become a star player the last 2 years. You wouldn't even say the last 2.5 years. His breakout game being his 5-sack game against the Giants in 2020. So this is a guy who has our number. I'm worried. I mean, look, like it's hard to beat a 3 times. It is hard to beat a team 3 times. It is. But also the teams playing a Week 18 were very different. And like it just feels like the Giants are getting. Yeah, everyone's picking the Giants. Everyone's all in on the Giants, but I'm worried. Like this Eagles team, they've had our number, and they just always find ways to beat us and break our hearts. Like I'll be honest, I don't expect us to win this game against the Eagles. I want to pick us, but they're just in every facet of the game. They just have a much better roster than us, and also there's all these people are starting to have all this good talk about the Giants. Lots of feel good about the Giants. All of a sudden, instead of being the underdog, it's all of a sudden they're the underdog that everybody likes, so they're not as much of an underdog. And again, that Eagles team, man, they're just so good. I really don't expect us to win going into the link. Them coming off a bye, well rested. I really don't expect us to win, man. But if we win, oh my God, Philly fans, get ready, Philly fans, because I am coming. I am coming for all of you if we pull off this upset. I would be shocked, but I am coming for all you guys if we pull off this upset. And man, like I'll tell you, obviously the Super Bowls are the 2 best wins I've seen as a fan. But if we win this game, it will be the best non-Super Bowl win I've experienced as a fan, and that includes the 2 NFC Championship games. It's like beating Philly, beating scumbag Philly, the team that I despise, a team that every ounce, with every fiber, everything in my bones despise. They anger me, they irk me, they piss me off. I hate Philly. To beat them, to beat these scumbags, it would be amazing. It would be so happy. And for me, you guys all know I have talked my shit about Jalen Hurts. I have crapped on Jalen Hurts. I have said he is the most overrated quarterback in football. He's a system quarterback. He's surrounded by the best roster in the NFL. You force him to try to win a game coming back. He can. And I said a lot of shit. I said, oh, everyone wants to love the Eagles this, love the Eagles that. Just wait for them to lose the first round, their first game. I said a lot of that. Now it feels weird that I'm backtracking on it. And, like, for me, like, it sucks because, I've had all this stuff. And if the Giants win, that is so good for my anti-Jalen Hurts narrative that I've been pushing this year, for everything that I've been trying to tell the people. Unfortunately, Jalen Hurts gets matched up against a defense that's where his skill position guys really match up well against. And that's, benefits him. He'll be carried by that. Because I will still say, if Jalen Hurts was on the Giants, maybe we'd be good because of Brian Dable being a head coach. But Jalen Hurts is not doing what Daniel Jones is doing. If Daniel Jones is on the Eagles, woo-wee, they're a damn good team. Like I'd much rather have Daniel Jones, my franchise QB, than Jalen Hurts. I still feel comfortable saying that. Again, Giants, please, 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 please win, please win. For me, I'll be doing what I have to do to help, my part to get this team a victory. If you follow me, if you follow my regular account on Instagram, if you have me on Snapchat, every Sunday, every game day, I go to the gym and do 4.13 miles. As a reminder, last year's 4-13 record this year. I'll be doing that. I'll be making sure I'm doing that Saturday before a game day, keeping that tradition alive. And another thing I'm doing, so, I prayed I prayed during that Minnesota game and made a deal that I would be going to a Shabbat service if we want to beat the Vikings. So I'm also going to be going to a Shabbat service. I'll be going Saturday morning, not breaking that deal I made with God for the Giants to beat the Vikings. And you know what? Going to temple, praying the morning of that Giants Eagles game. It's a good omen. Let's go Giants. Please, let's please beat Philly. Please. So I'm just really gonna finish recapping a couple things here and there. Uh, you last from the week, I talked about Brock Purdy and the Niners. Brock Purdy didn't look good early. Then he got going. There were some scares there. Like the Niners were chilling at the half. Then that second half, he was big cock Brock, lit up Seattle. The team just played so well. I mean, Elijah Mitchell even got a touchdown. Everyone coming back. The Niners playing great. Dallas, they wanted a blowout, blowing out Tampa Bay. Ending Tom Brady's Tampa career for sure. I think he's going to Vegas. I've been saying that. I don't think he's retiring. But it was a blowout. Dak looked good after I really wanted the Cowboys to lose that game just so I could have done all this crap shit talking about the Giants making it further than the Cowboys after all the Cowboys, what I've heard from Cowboys fans this year, whenever we've lost. But, they won. I think the Niners are going to win that game. I think it'll be a close game. The Cowboys will compete, but, the Niners, they're too good. I think the Dallas defense will not see an offense that moves the ball as well as they have and throw them off their game for a bit. So yeah, Eagles will be Eagles versus Niners. Still keeping that. AFC. I mean, the AFC was pretty like Bills Dolphins was like a good game, but like it also wasn't where like it was close, but that game took forever. Like I mean, the Giants game had to get pushed back to 450 because of how long this game took. Skylar Thompson was 18 of 45. You do the math on that. That's that's 2 of 5. That's 40% completion percentage, 27 incompletions. Game took forever. The Bills' offense was sloppy. Like that game was just sloppy and boring. The Bengals played sloppy. Like at least that game was exciting and more entertaining. Huntley almost won, but both teams really lost to backup QBs, the Bengals and the Bills. And now they play each other. I like the Bills to win that game. Rematch of the game we should have gotten a few weeks ago because of Damar Hamlin. So I have the Bills winning that game, getting the AFC title game. And then Chiefs. The Chiefs are going to beat the Jaguars, but credit to the Jaguars for beating the Chargers. And I'll be honest, was there ever really a doubt that the Jaguars were going to come back against the Chargers? I mean, even when it was 27-0, it was like I tried to live bet it. I didn't get a live line. I'm like, they're going to charger this up. Like, Brandon Staley. They don't run the ball. Like, what they were going to do. They were going to throw the ball more in the second half. Allow the Jaguars to get back in it. It's the Chargers. If you watch Chargers games, you know how their games go where they can build that lead, but they're going to throw the ball. They're going to just, if you can stop, and they're not going to run the ball. They're not going to drain the clock. And this is what I've been saying. I love Austin Ekeler. I think he's a great player, but he's not a traditional running back. You need a real running back to win games in the NFL. Ekeler can do so much, and he's a great fantasy player. But, when the Chargers need a workhorse running back to close out games, he's not there. And they need someone. They need someone to do that. They got a better play caller. And to me, I cannot believe that Brandon Staley is not getting fired. That is a joke. What a joke that Staley still has a job. I mean, there's so many things I can get into about Brandon Staley. I don't even know how he has a job. It's just pathetic. Pathetic that he has a job. At least Chargers, they moved on from the OC. Oh, speaking of having jobs, fire Chris Holtmann immediately. Ohio State basketball is in shambles right now. They're second to last place in the Big Ten, and they beat Rutgers because of a bad call from the ref, where the Big Ten even admitted that we should have that Rutgers should have beaten us, and the ref screwed them. The refs don't screw Rutgers. Ohio State has one win in the Big Ten. They're in last place, and they're 9-9. Things are bad. I mean, Chris Holtmann. Chris Holtmann. He is not a good coach because Ohio State, they actually have a pretty talented team. Zed Key, Justice Suing, 2 good freshmen, Sensabaugh, Bryce Thornton, and some good transfers, and they can't put it together. I saw a really good tweet that I want to talk about. Literally put Ohio State basketball perfectly. Let me see if I can find this tweet. Did I not retweet it? Regardless, Chris Holtmann. What Chris Holtmann has been doing the last few years is why Thad Matta got fired. At Thad Matta's peak, we were consistently fighting for Big Ten titles, multiple single-digit loss seasons. You know, 1, 2, 3 seed in the NCAA tournament. And now, with Holtmann, the peak under Holtmann has been an overrated 2 seed that got bounced in the first round. Maybe a 3 seed. Like that's it for Holtmann. He's not a good coach. He's just the shot selection was lackluster. He came over supposed to be defense. The defensive scheming has been awful every year he's been the head coach. I don't know, man. Fire Holtmann because losing to Nebraska, losing to Minnesota, this team's in trouble. And some people are blind, and because they're Ohio State fans, think that we're going to be fine because they don't actually have objectivity. They're just like, oh yeah, I like Ohio State. We're going to be fine. We're the best team. And first of all, net rankings had this team in the top 10. How are we top 10 in the net? We're still 28 in net. What a joke. What a joke. I'll probably get more into Ohio State basketball in another episode. But everyone, done with this one. Buckeyes, continue sucking. Giants, make me happy. Beat scumbag Philly, please. Again, I want to thank everybody who supported the podcast thus far. Remember, go follow the Birds Eye View podcast on Instagram for all my latest episode releases. Go follow Jay Birds Eye View on Twitter for all my latest live reactions to games and latest news. Thank you, everybody, and have a great rest of your day.